Hello. We are into week 2 of Leo season. So this week we are talking about July 31st through August 7th. And so actually this day, August 1st, which I talked about in week 1 also is really the exact conjunction of this Mars North Node and Uranus conjunction or stellium. I talked about it in the last video. I'm going to talk about it again because it is that important of an energy. And I'll talk about it in relation of some other aspects that are coming on this week. So that is the highlight of this week is this Mars Uranus North Node conjunction. This will be the exact degree, exact day, August 1st, Monday, August 1st in the US. And so, but what I think is a couple things that are interesting with this is during this week, it's going to do a few things. Well, a few things are going to happen. Let's start with one of the things that's going to be really supportive. The sun in Leo is trining Jupiter in Aries. So a trine is an aspect that basically it's almost one of those energies that's so natural that it's a buoyancy energy. And so it can be very natural and it's not necessarily something we have to work at. It's something that we're going to feel. So sun trine Jupiter is more of a glass half full, optimistic energy, and expansive and I want to say explosive, but in a good way, like a excitable, exuberant energy, especially in the fire signs of Leo and Aries. And so I think knowing that we have this like exuberant energy of this week, we're just going to figure out through these other transits that I'm going to talk about what we need in order to use our exuberance to its healthiest version. I think, so that brings us to looking at this conjunction, right, which we've talked about, of being this energy that is rapid, it is fast, it is lightning quick, it is downloads dropping into our head, it is like, well, it's got a lot of energy. So in that support of sun trine Jupiter, it could be like, you know, if you have an athletic event during this time frame, you're going to probably have the energy to do it. Now, you just have to be careful of accidents, which I've talked about more than once. But it is also like there's a lot of oomph behind this energy. So that's a really healthy way to use it. You definitely need a way to move this energy through your body, however you do that. I don't care if you're singing, dancing, running a marathon, biking up a hill, whatever you're doing, like to just make sure that this energy has an expenditure outside of staying inside, because this is energy we do not want to like get pent up or stuck inside our body. Because one of the things that can happen is it squares Saturn. So we can see the Saturn's down here in Aquarius, and it is squaring this energy of over here in Taurus. And then it's opposing Mercury, actually. So it's opposing our mind and how we think. Now let's start with that energy. So when we have Mercury opposite Saturn, there's often limitations. Saturn is a planet that rules limitation or constriction energy, constricting or slowing that energy down, which could be good at this time frame. We might want that energy. We might want the ability to be able to hopefully rein it in a little bit so that we can collect our thoughts just enough to be able to think before we speak, because this is not great thinking before we speak energy. So now that you know this in advance of this energy coming up, my hope is that it might help to trigger that thought for you. When it's Mercury, when it's opposition like this, it tends to be actually someone else telling you something, or it tends to be an outside experience happening. So either you get constricted where maybe I go to make this video and suddenly my computer doesn't work. Or something like that. Or sometimes it can be this Mercury opposite Saturn can be someone outside of you telling you to simmer down or play small, or you're being too much. You might hear that energy, which is going to frustrate this stellium over here. But it might be just that your tact, the way you're going into what you have to say, is what they're really talking about. There isn't a lot of clarity in this energy as far as like someone who's going to be very tactful in how they tell you, hey, I really hear what you're saying. And it's just a little bit aggressive for me right now. So if we could come back to it a little bit later, that'd be great. That would be amazing if you could hear it that way. Odds are it's not going to come out that way. It's just going to be someone being like, you're being a jerk right now, and I don't want to talk to you. So if that comes into your field, then to just recognize that maybe what they're really trying to say is like, wow, I'm really overwhelmed and I need to back it off, but they just don't have the language around that. That's what this energy can be about this week. So the energy that you can use for yourself possibly are reframe it in your mind. Don't create a big drama, planets in Leo. Let's not make it more than it has to be. Let's just think about, okay, maybe I'm talking too forcefully. Maybe I'm talking too loudly. Maybe I'm coming on too strong in this moment. And I need to go back into just my thinking place and be like, what am I really trying to say? And how can this constriction of Saturn help me to really refine and hone in on what it is I want to say more effectively, and maybe a little bit more gently. Isn't super gentle energy. We do have Venus. What is Venus doing this week? She is luckily sextiling this whole Taurus shizzle. And so Venus, there's two ways that Venus will go here. Either she's going to get really sensitive and she's going to get her feelings hurt, or, and if you do, just to really witness that and maybe, retract and get your languaging together before you come back to the person and say, you know what, maybe you're the one who's going to be saying like, you know what, that just really hurt my feelings and I needed a few minutes. Can we revisit that subject from another place of like taking it down a little bit in volume and notch? The other piece with this is, if you're the one that's being like more outgoing and like maybe just being overly expressive or something, or strong, is that to be able to just slow it down a minute, check in with your heart before you go charging ahead. That's what a lot of this is. Venus in Cancer can be very sensitive to what's in my heart, what's in the other's heart. And how can I best do this energy? It's not easy. She's got a tough, she's like our one planet that's like, everybody simmer down a little bit. Everyone, it's a great week to get in the water. Venus is in the sign of water. So I think that water will, I guarantee almost, it's a very hot time of summer. So it's like, I guarantee you might almost, like, if you're really fired up and you're really frustrated or angry or any of those fiery words that are tricky and you get in the water, I guarantee you're going to see steam come in off your body. And that's okay. It's really healthy. It's a healthy way to diffuse that energy. So I think, that's one of our outlets for this week. How are we retracting our energy? How are we consolidating Saturn, the Saturn energy? How are we consolidating it? And how are we being able to be really most efficient and strong yet kind? That would be the really high side of this energy this week. It's not going to be easy. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be really, there's a lot of, if you're with people who aren't very awake or who aren't very conscious or tend to just blah, that's going to be accelerated this week. So maybe because you're aware and I'm giving you this information in advance, you'll be able to like recognize that and maybe not react and be able to respond, pull back and then come back with a response that, is more after you jump in the lake. You'll be able to come back with a response that is more in alignment with what you really want to share and say and how you want to love. This is all, in the energy of signs that really want to love. So anyway, these are things to think about for this week, and hopefully this is helpful, and we'll give you some more information for what comes in after this. Thanks.